Hi.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, today we are talking about Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, the fourth, and I hate to say, final book in the Twisted series. If you're not yet aware of the Twisted series, I will be happy to introduce it to you because it's a beautiful world. This is a companion novel series, meaning that each book in the series is its own standalone book, but there is an overarching story and it all follows this one friend group, basically these four girls that all attended this same university together, and each book focuses on one of the girls and a different relationship they have with a different guy. So we've gone through the first three, and now as the final book, we get to meet Stella Alonso. She has been the one girl in the group that I feel like has really been sneaky. Like, we haven't seen a lot of her and I've been really curious to meet her and know what she's gonna be like, and I was not disappointed. Stella, as we learn, basically works in fashion. She works at like a fashion magazine, but her main gig is that she's an influencer. She's an Instagram baddie. She has like 950,000 followers. She does brand deals. She does modeling. Like, that is her thing. That's what she's really passionate about. She's worked a long time to build it up and she's really good at it. And we meet Stella briefly in Twisted Hate, the last book, because we see her move into this apartment, this beautiful skyrise, basically the nicest apartment building in town, called the Mirage. She moves in with her friend Jules, but if you've read that book, you know going into this book that Jules no longer lives at that apartment, so Stella is there on her own, and the whole kicker of this apartment is that Stella should not be able to afford it, but they do have connections with the man that owns the place, who just happens to be Christian Harper. He is a very dangerous man, a very much touch her and you die kind of person. He is the head of this massive security company called Harper Security. He does security detail for like the biggest, most famous people in the country. We see the connection with Bridget in the second book. She is a princess and his company is actually the company that like does her security. So he's a big deal in this story, a very dangerous, well-known man. And he owns this apartment complex, and for whatever reason, he feels protective over Miss Stella. He has given her a lower rent than is needed to be in this apartment. She's never quite figured out why, because he's not very nice to her. Generally, he's a very cold, hard man. They've never really had many interactions with each other, but that all sort of comes to a head in this story because Stella finds herself in a predicament, as does Christian. Stella is trying to grow her following. It's really always been her passion, and she's never been able to pass that 1 million follower mark, and she gets the opportunity with this brand to basically be their ambassador, but there's a bunch of people in the running and Stella is really stressed about it. She wants to get it, and after talking with her sort of brand manager, he's like, you know what you gotta do. You know what'll push you over the edge. You know what'll get you to 1 million. You need to be in a relationship. You need to cause a little drama. Like, you need to find a boyfriend, start dating someone, post them on your Instagram. Like, that's what needs to happen. And Stella's like, I have no interest in that. Stella's never really had interest in dating. Like, she's just very much an independent person, and it's like, if the right person comes along, fine, but she's not into like casual dating, and especially not into casual dating on social media in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And it just so happens as she's going through this predicament, she kind of encounters Christian, and Christian is also in need of something. He, again, is like this very big businessman. He is like very connected, and he's constantly attending gatherings and social events, and he really needs a buffer. He really needs arm candy. He needs someone that can go to all these things with him, socialize with him, you know, make him look a little more approachable. And Stella would be the perfect person to do that. So pretty much they end up making a deal that they're gonna fake date, which, internal screaming, not even internal screaming, screaming out loud. You guys know, fake dating, it's one of the greatest tropes to ever exist. And I didn't know going into this book initially that that's what this was gonna be about. And it's really not a spoiler. It's pretty obvious, like everyone's talking about it, so sorry, that's a spoiler. I don't think so. But they agree to fake date, essentially, at the beginning of this book so that Stella can get her following up and Christian can have his arm candy, like I said. But the deal is that Christian is a very private man, even though he is very well known. Like, you know, he's into security, so he's like not about putting his face all over the internet like on purpose, you know, for many people to see. So he's like, I'll be all over your Instagram, but you can't show my face. Which, you know, if you're on social media, we are nosy people. We want to see what's happening. We want to know things. And so the allure of like having Christian on her profile just makes it like all the more intense and just puts people into a frenzy because they want to know like who this man is that she's with, because she's never showing his face. She's just showing like his hand on her thigh or like the back of his head, and it's very scandalous. And of course, as always happens with a fake dating story, you get to that moment of like, is this fake? Is this real? Is it something more? And you know, it would be good enough if it was just a fake dating story and that's all we were getting, but there's a whole nother element to this story. I feel like the entire Twisted series has done a really good job of doing this. Like, we get a spicy story, we get a good little romance, but there's also like a little bit of a thriller action in there, a little bit of a mystery action. Stella has a dark thing from her past reappear that she thought she had gotten rid of. You know, being on Instagram, she attracts some crazy people is all I will say, and she thought that she was rid of that in her life, but it turns out she's not quite rid of it. So yeah, now in the middle of this with Christian and this going on, Stella's world is about to turn upside down and we're all here for the ride. Guys, I can't even explain how obsessed I was with this book. It was the ultimate slow burn. I love a spicy book, but literally the slow burn is everything to me, and Anna Huang is so good at doing that. I think this book, she did the best of it out of any of her books. Like, she really made you wait. She gave you crumbs so that you're like dangling on the edge of your freaking seat and you're like, please, and then nope, never. You gotta wait, you gotta hold off, and it just made it so much better because by the time the like tension exploded, you were just like, ah. It was so good. Christian, I just love the bad boy that has a soft spot for one girl sort of thing, like, and then just the badass billionaire that's got a bunch of power and a bunch of resources and will freaking tear the world down to save you. Like, if you're into that sort of vibe, read this book, I'm telling you, because Twisted Games, like I said, Twisted Games was incredible. Like, I did not think anything was gonna top it, and I think a lot of what I loved in Twisted Games was like also present in this, because again, it was that whole like protection aspect and like having, you know, Stella under his wing and under his watch. Like, you get a lot of what you got from Twisted Games with just the extra like billionaire mogul moment added in, and the fake dating. The fake dating, it's all I could ask for. Yeah, this was my favorite book in the series. I think Bridget is still my favorite girl. I just love Bridget. I thought she was incredible. Stella though, I also loved her. Thought she was great. Literally zero complaints. No complaints about this book. I literally can't think of one. And I love the vibes of it. Green is my favorite color, as you might be able to tell. And the green and the butterflies, like, I just felt like it was so me. I felt it in my soul and I loved it so much. I'm devastated that this series is over, but I do know that we're getting another sort of spin-off series of this series. I don't think it's quite a spin-off, but it like connects vaguely. Can't remember what it's called right now, but I know there's 7 books in the series because like each one focuses on like each of the 7 deadly sins. So that could be interesting. I don't know. I just know I'm gonna read whatever Anna Huang writes because she knows how to freaking do it. If you guys have read Twisted Lies, if you've read the entire Twisted series, please tell me your thoughts. Tell me which one is your favorite. I feel like people are really all over the board on this series. Like, people absolutely go die hard for their favorite book in this series, and I don't feel like there's a certain one that is most liked. I mean, Twisted Games was big, but so many people love Twisted Hate. So many people have slid into my DMs and been like, I love every book in this series, but the first one is still my favorite. Alex is still everything to me. So I'm like, I love to hear it. I love to hear everyone's differing opinions. It's a great time. It's a great freaking series. It filled the hole in my heart. I feel like that The Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas left. I didn't think it would ever be filled. And I mean, that still is like basically my favorite series of all time. I don't know that anything will quite top that in that sort of like spicy companion novel series regard. But this did a very good job of helping me out, and just, I loved it. I loved it so much. But yes, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.